imagine, for just a second, that you're carrying a literal slot machine right in your pocket.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, it's just right there with you. It's there the moment you wake up. It's on your commute. It's, sitting right next to your plate at dinner.
Right. Always within reach.
Exactly. And every single time you reach into that pocket and pull the lever, you don't win money. Instead, you win this tiny, completely invisible, but incredibly potent hit of a chemical right inside your brain.
Which is so wild to think about. Like, have you ever unlocked your phone just to check the time, and then suddenly you realize 20 minutes have completely vanished?
Yeah, you're just deep into a feed of short videos.
Right. With absolutely no memory of how you even got there. Why does it feel so, like, physically impossible to just look away?
Welcome to the Missing Lessons, where we explain what school never did.
Yeah.
Today, we are taking a deep dive into a reality that, honestly, almost all of us are living, but very few of us actually understand. We're going to explore the hidden mechanics behind why we simply cannot put our phones down. And just to be clear right up front, this is not some lecture about having a bad habit or, lacking willpower.
No, not at all.
What we're really looking at is how modern technology is fundamentally rewiring our brains, altering our relationships, and genuinely changing our actual perception of reality.
If you're enjoying the Missing Lessons, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a rating, and share it with someone who might find it interesting. It helps us create more episodes and reach more curious minds.
So to really grasp the sheer power of this technology we hold every single day, we kind of have to, we can't start with the screen itself.
Right.
We actually have to start with the biology that the screen is hijacking. And to do that, we need to travel way back in time to our cave-dwelling ancestors.
Okay, taking it back. I like it.
Yeah, we need to look at the evolutionary role of dopamine. Like, we constantly hear dopamine casually called the pleasure chemical, right?
Yeah, totally. People
Yeah.
say that all the time.
But it's actually far more accurate and honestly more useful to think of it as the motivation chemical.
Right. It's the drive. Like back in prehistoric times, dopamine was basically the ultimate survival tool.
Exactly. It was this neurological reward system that got our ancestors off the ground to go find things that were absolutely essential for keeping them alive, especially in a world that was just defined by extreme scarcity.
Yeah.
If you were wandering the savannah and you finally found a bush full of berries after days of hunger, your brain just released a huge spike of dopamine.
It's basically nature's way of saying, hey, this is good. Remember exactly how you did this.
Yes, do this again.
Yeah.
It literally kept us alive. But there was another survival mechanism that was honestly just as critical as finding food or shelter. And that was other people.
Oh, right. Because we're fundamentally wired to connect.
Exactly. We are biologically wired for it. Moving in tribes was really the only way early humans could stay safe from predators. Like, an isolated human was usually a dead human.
Wow. Yeah, that's dark but true. Being part of a group allowed us to share scarce resources, keep watch while others slept, protect the kids.
Right. Because being part of a group was quite literally life or death. Human connection evolved to become one of the most powerful triggers for dopamine that we even possess.
Making a friend, getting approval from the tribe, just feeling understood. All of that releases massive amounts of dopamine.
Huge amounts. And now I want you to bring that ancient biological wiring into our modern contrast because, well, we don't live in a world of scarcity anymore.
Right.
Most of us are not hunting for berries or hiding from literal tigers, but our brains, they haven't updated their software at all.
Oh, wow.
We are still walking around with this ancient neurological machinery, just desperately hunting for those dopamine hits in a world of absolute overwhelming abundance.
But wait, hold on. I want to push back on something here. If we are fundamentally social creatures, right, and we need connection to survive, are you saying that a tool designed to connect us with more people faster than ever before is somehow a trap?
It sounds weird, I know.
Yeah, it just feels super counterintuitive to say that our own healthy survival instincts are somehow working against us now.
And that is exactly where this gets so fascinating and, frankly, like a little terrifying. The instinct itself isn't bad at all.
Okay.
The trap exists because modern platforms took that really beautiful natural drive for human connection and they completely drugified it.
Drugified it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Think about the mechanics of how a substance works in the human body. If you take something orally, it has to process through your digestive system.
Right. It takes a while to hit your bloodstream. The effect is pretty gradual.
Exactly. But a hypodermic needle bypasses all of that friction entirely. It delivers the substance directly into your bloodstream, which creates this immediate, unnaturally intense high.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
In the digital age, the smartphone is literally the modern-day hypodermic needle.
So you're saying it just completely removes the natural friction of human interaction.
100%. Like, instead of the slow, nuanced dopamine release you get from having a face-to-face conversation with a friend.
Where you have to, read body language, pause, actually listen.
Right, you have to invest time. But your phone delivers a highly concentrated dose instantly. It uses bright, saturated colors, flashing lights, push notifications.
All those instant social validation metrics.
Exactly. And it delivers all of it directly to your visual cortex. It's engineered as a superstimulus.
Right.
You aren't just getting the warmth of human connection, you're getting a hyper-amplified, completely gamified version of it, injected straight into your brain's reward pathway.
At a speed our evolutionary biology was just never designed to handle.
Never. We cannot keep up.
That makes a lot of sense. And, now that we know our brains are out there constantly hunting for this connection, we really have to look at the platforms themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Because the environment we're swiping through isn't random. It's this brilliant, highly deliberate engineering designed to exploit that exact biological hunt.
Yeah, let's unpack those specific design features that actually keep you hooked. Because the most prominent one is the infinite scroll.
Oh yeah, the worst one.
If you think about how we used to consume information, like, say, reading a physical book or a newspaper, there were always natural stopping points built right into the experience.
Right, you reach the end of a chapter or the bottom of a page.
And you have to make a conscious physical choice to turn that page. Even in the really early days of the internet, you would hit the bottom of a forum and you had to actually click a button that literally said next page to see more.
Yeah, in cognitive psychology, those are called stopping cues. They're basically natural friction points that give your brain a tiny micro break.
Exactly.
And in that split second of friction, your brain has the opportunity to just pause, evaluate, and ask, like, do I want to keep doing this, or should I go to sleep now?
Precisely. And infinite scrolling removes those stopping cues entirely. As you push your thumb up the screen, the feed just magically replenishes itself.
There's literally no bottom.
No bottom at all. And because there's no natural endpoint, your brain never gets the signal to disengage. Which is exactly why you can sit down on the couch at, say, 8 p.m., and suddenly it's 9:30 and you haven't moved an inch.
Right. And it's not just a bottomless feed of random information either. You have to layer on the algorithm-driven content.
Oh, the algorithm is key.
The artificial intelligence behind these platforms isn't just passively showing you videos. It's actively learning your psychology in real time.
Yep. It measures what tech designers called dwell time.
Right.
It knows if you hovered over a baking tutorial for like 1.2 seconds longer than you hovered over a sports highlight. It learns what you share, what you skip, what actually makes you stop.
And it uses that microdata to constantly serve up novelty. Because our brains have a built-in search and explore function.
Yeah. We do. We are completely hardwired to look for new, interesting, potentially valuable things in our environment. And the algorithm perfectly triggers this function.
Yeah.
It acts as an endless promise that something entirely new or surprising or hilarious is just one single swipe away.
But if we're being completely honest, the most powerful mechanism of all isn't even the endlessness of it. It's the variable reward system.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's the exact same psychology used in a casino. If you pulled a slot machine lever and won exactly $1 every single time, you would get profoundly bored and just walk away.
Right. The brain adapts to predictability.
Exactly. It's the unpredictability that spikes the dopamine.
That is the core of the whole trap. When you post a photo, a thought, or a video online, you have no idea what the outcome will be.
Will you get 100 likes? Will someone leave a funny comment?
Will a total stranger validate you? Or will you get absolute crickets? It's that uncertainty that hooks you in. It creates this intense, dopamine-driven feedback loop that keeps you coming back, checking and rechecking your notifications.
So it's like eating a bag of chips that magically refills itself at the bottom.
Yeah.
But here's the catch. Every 10th chip is your absolute favorite, mouth-watering flavor. But you never know exactly when it's going to pop up.
Perfect analogy.
Like when you swipe and see a mildly amusing video, then swipe again and see something super boring, but then you swipe again and see a baby laughing hysterically and it just makes your whole day.
Right.
The unpredictability just reinforces the behavioral loop. Your brain learns that if it just keeps swiping, eventually it's going to hit the jackpot again.
Exactly. Have you ever noticed your heart rate slightly jump right after you post a photo, just waiting for that first, to roll in?
Oh, totally. We've all felt it.
That little flutter in your chest is the anticipation. It's the dopamine building up. But here is where we have to really confront the psychological toll of all this brilliant engineering.
Yeah, the fallout.
We are caught in this loop, but what actually happens when we try to log off? What happens when we finally look away from the screen and just look around at the physical room we're sitting in?
This is where we shift from, a behavioral quirk to a real physiological crash. To understand the fallout, you really have to understand something called the dopamine deficit state.
Right. Your brain is always constantly trying to maintain a state of balance, which is called homeostasis.
Okay.
I want you to imagine your brain's reward system like a seesaw in a playground. When you open your phone and start scrolling, you are essentially piling heavy weights onto the pleasure side of that seesaw.
You're just flooding the brain with rapid-fire, unnatural highs.
Yes. But the brain doesn't like being tilted entirely to one side. It desperately wants to be level.
So to compensate for that massive flood of stimulation, the brain essentially pushes down on the pain side of the seesaw.
Precisely. Through a biological process, it actually reduces the number of active dopamine receptors in your brain just to try and level things out, to protect you from being completely overstimulated.
And the massive problem hits when you finally put the phone down.
That's the crash. The app is closed, the artificial stimulation is gone, the pleasure weights just vanish instantly. But your brain is still pushing down heavily on the pain side.
Oh, wow.
So your dopamine levels drop entirely below your natural baseline. This is the dopamine deficit state. And it is exactly why the second you lock your screen, you might feel a sudden, crushing wave of emptiness.
Or like a profound restlessness or a low-grade anxiety.
Even a sense of depression. You just removed the hyperstimulant and your brain is in a temporary state of active withdrawal. It's why the room suddenly feels too quiet and your hand just instinctively twitches to pick the phone right back up.
Which creates massive real-world ripples. I mean, think about this in the context of students or anyone trying to do deep work.
Oh, it's devastating for focus.
Deep learning and complex problem solving require sustained, unbroken focus. But if your brain is constantly craving a quick dopamine hit to get out of that deficit state, you become incredibly easily distracted.
Exactly. The constant switching of attention from reading a textbook to checking a notification, back to the textbook, then to a quick video, it completely shatters your concentration.
Yeah.
And it's not just a harmless distraction. Over time, this constant context switching genuinely shrinks your baseline attention span. You literally lose the neurological endurance to sit with a difficult, frustrating task because your brain demands an immediate, frictionless reward.
Wow. And then there's the impact on our relationships. This concept of phubbing, phone snubbing.
Right, yeah.
We walk around believing we are the most connected generation in all of human history. But the actual quality of our face-to-face interactions is just plummeting.
It really is.
We sit across from our friends or our family at dinner, but our minds are totally fractured. We're only partially there, with the rest of our attention living in the digital world. The deep, meaningful, undivided connections that our evolutionary biology actually craves are being replaced by these really shallow digital substitutes.
And perhaps the most damaging psychological toll comes from social comparison. Because when we are online, we are exposed to perfectly curated, heavily filtered, and just meticulously edited lives.
Right. We're looking at a reality that only exists in the Matrix.
Exactly. But our ancient brains, the ones wired to assess our social standing within a small tribe of maybe 50 people, they just aren't equipped to process the millions of social comparisons this virtual world demands of us every single day.
No, not at all. We end up comparing our everyday, messy, completely unfiltered reality, our bad hair days, our messy kitchens, our boring Tuesday mornings, to someone else's absolute brightly lit highlight reel.
And this constant, unrelenting exposure is driving a genuine crisis. It leads to incredibly low self-esteem, intense body image anxiety, and rising rates of eating disorders.
Like bulimia.
Right. Conditions where the pressure to achieve a completely impossible physical ideal just becomes overwhelming. For a lot of people, this constant comparison eventually leads to a psychological state known as learned helplessness.
Oh, that's rough.
You look at the extreme wealth, the flawless beauty, the apparent endless happiness of everyone online, and you give up. You
Yeah.
feel like you can never possibly measure up to that standard, so you literally stop trying to build a fulfilling life in your actual physical reality.
Which brings up a really fascinating question for you, the listener. Which explanation makes the most sense to you?
Yeah.
Are we experiencing higher rates of depression because of what we see online, like the comparison and the impossible standards? Or are we depressed because our literal brain chemistry is constantly crashing into a deficit state when we log off?
That really is the million-dollar question. And the reality is, it's likely a highly toxic combination of both.
Right.
The content we consume breaks our spirit, and the mechanical delivery system breaks our brain chemistry.
I want to pivot here, though, because I feel like we need to define our terms a bit better.
Okay, sure.
We throw the word addiction around constantly in casual conversation, like, oh, I'm addicted to this show or I'm addicted to this app.
Oh, all the time.
But wait, everyone uses social media for work or school now. Does spending 3 hours a day online automatically make you an addict? Because volume alone surely can't be the only metric we use to pathologize this behavior.
That is a very crucial distinction to make. Volume is absolutely not the metric.
Okay.
Because our modern world completely requires us to be online, high usage alone does not automatically equal addiction.
Right. That makes sense.
While this isn't categorized exactly like a severe substance abuse disorder in the diagnostic manuals just yet, the behaviors heavily mirror recognized behavioral addictions like gaming disorder.
Wow.
And it's not a fringe issue at all. It's estimated that around 5 to 20% of teenagers are severely impacted, averaging 2 to 4 hours a day entirely lost in digital environments, completely separate from school or work.
So where is the line then? If it's not about the hours spent, how do we actually define it?
The line is impairment.
Impairment.
Yes. It crosses the line into a behavioral addiction when it begins to jeopardize your real life. The warning signs are incredibly clear, and they match the clinical signs of almost any other addiction.
Okay, let's walk through them.
The first is tolerance. When you first downloaded the app, maybe 10 minutes of scrolling felt great. It gave you that boost.
Right.
But over time, your brain adapts to the dopamine levels. Now you need to scroll for 45 minutes or an hour just to get that exact same baseline feeling of satisfaction.
And the second sign is withdrawal. And we aren't just talking about being slightly annoyed when your battery dies.
No, not at all.
We're talking about feeling genuine physiological distress. It's the irritability, the intense anxiety, or the sudden mood swings when you're cut off from Wi-Fi or if you accidentally leave your phone at home.
Exactly. The third sign is deception. You start lying to your family, your friends, or even yourself about how much time you actually spent online.
You minimize it.
You do. You catch yourself hiding in the bathroom or staying in your parked car in the driveway for 20 minutes just to scroll so no one inside the house can judge you.
And the final major sign is escape. You are no longer using the screen for entertainment or connection. You're using it as a shield.
Yep.
The moment you feel real-world stress, sadness, and awkward silence at a party or a negative mood, your thumb instantly, unconsciously opens the app to numb out and avoid dealing with the emotion.
Exactly. You lose control of the behavior and you continue doing it despite knowing the negative consequences. That is impairment.
Wow.
Which brings us to the big picture and how we actually break free from this loop. Because this isn't just an individual failing, and it's vital to understand that.
Right.
This is a massive societal shift. We have to zoom out and look at the future of human behavior. Think about the broader implications here. If we have an entire generation whose attention span, motivation, and emotional regulation are inextricably tied to a variable reward algorithm owned by a tech company, that changes everything.
It changes our economy. Because true innovation and deep work require sustained focus.
Yes.
It changes our history and our political discourse because algorithms have learned that nuance doesn't go viral, but outrage and tribalism absolutely do. It fundamentally changes how society functions on a macro level.
But here is the empowering part. Because we now know exactly how the trap works, we can actually learn how to dismantle it. You are not powerless against the machine.
Okay, so what do we do?
The first and arguably most effective solution is the dopamine fast. This is a biological reset. The idea is to take a minimum of 1 full month away from your specific drug of choice.
A whole month.
Yeah, whether that's a specific short video app, a social network, whatever pulls you in the hardest.
And the reason it takes a month is because it literally takes time for your brain's reward pathways to heal.
Exactly.
Those dopamine receptors that were downregulated to handle the superstimulus, they need time to upregulate and return to their natural baseline.
Right. The first few days are incredibly difficult as you sit in that really uncomfortable dopamine deficit state. But by the end of the month, the low-grade anxiety and depression often lift.
And suddenly, you find that you can actually enjoy modest, everyday rewards again.
Yeah. And even taking a 24-hour timeout on a weekend can provide a massive shift in perspective and just give your brain a brief chance to breathe.
That makes a lot of sense.
The second strategy involves cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, combined with mindfulness. This isn't just about forcefully deleting apps, it's about changing your fundamental relationship with your own thoughts and urges.
It's about learning how to pause.
Exactly. When you feel the urge to grab your phone, mindfulness teaches you to recognize the emotional trigger before your thumb automatically opens the app.
Right. It's asking yourself in that microsecond of friction, like, are you reaching for it because you're actually bored? Are you reaching for it because you're anxious about an upcoming test or a meeting? Or is it because you feel lonely? By identifying the underlying emotional trigger, you intercept the automatic habit loop. You bring it from the unconscious into the conscious.
That's perfectly said. Finally, we have to talk about boundaries. Relying on willpower alone is rarely enough when you are up against supercomputers designed by some of the smartest engineers on the planet.
Seriously.
You have to use friction to your advantage. This means using built-in screen time limiters to physically lock yourself out of apps after a certain amount of time.
Right.
It means scheduling specific windows of the day for social media, say 20 minutes after dinner, rather than leaving it open as an all-day, all-you-can-eat buffet. And most importantly, it means prioritizing the types of digital tools that facilitate actual in-person meetups rather than platforms designed strictly for endless passive scrolling.
Here's a question for you. If you had to do a 30-day dopamine fast starting tomorrow, which specific app would be the hardest for you to give up and why? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
To wrap all of this up, the most important takeaway is this. If you are struggling to put your phone down, you are not weak.
Absolutely not.
You are up against millions of years of evolutionary biology that desperately wants you to connect with the tribe to survive, combined with some of the most sophisticated artificially intelligent algorithms ever created.
Designed specifically to capture and hold your attention.
Exactly. It's not a fair fight.
But understanding the battlefield is the first step to reclaiming your autonomy. By understanding the hidden mechanics of the infinite scroll, the casino-like variable rewards, and the biological reality of dopamine deficits, you can start to step out of the loop.
You can reclaim your time.
You can rebuild your attention span and protect your mental health.
I want to leave you with a lingering realization to think about long after this audio stops playing. You are walking around with a device in your pocket that gives you immediate access to the accumulated knowledge of all human history. Yet it's designed to make you care more about a stranger's curated vacation photo. Are you using your digital life, or is it using you?
If you enjoyed this episode of The Missing Lessons, don't forget to follow the podcast, leave a rating, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us continue exploring the topics school never taught us.